What is up, Titan Nation? Hope everybody's having a good week. Had a good week so far. Appreciate y'all and the support of the channel and everything else. It's much appreciated. We got a good show for y'all tonight. James, the big sportsman, aka Titans for Life, he'll be in here in a little bit. He's getting set up and he'll pop in here. We'll get him on. We got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot going on in the NFL. Kind of crazy, all the things that have happened, all the trades. I don't remember an offseason where it was this active. I mean, so many things going on. Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield now, all this stuff going on. And the Titans have been pretty quiet. They've been pretty quiet in free agency, which understandably so. They don't have a lot of money to work with, so they have to, work with what they got. But they have made some moves today, and we're going to talk about that. Anyways, let's roll the intro, and we'll get going. Tighten up.
Oh, how y'all doing? This is Jalen Fly, aka the Mountain Mover. Make sure y'all follow my movement. But in the meantime, check us out. I need y'all to like and subscribe because this is Titans Rossi. Oh, let's go.
So there we go. There's Jalen Fly with the intro. And we'll be getting him on again sometime soon. He texted me the other day and said he had a big announcement he was going to make. I don't know what that means, if he's going to be playing somewhere or something with his public speaking stuff that he does, motivational speaking. I'm not sure, but we'll definitely get him on and all that stuff. But what I do want to start with tonight is we made a big move today, and I consider it a big move because this is a guy that the Titans wanted. This is a guy that Titans fans wanted. I wanted him as soon as he became available, and the Tennessee Titans have signed a one-year deal, $6 million for Austin Hooper. This guy is a baller. He's been in the league about, 6 seasons. Played with Atlanta, played with the Browns. The good thing about this guy is he is a Titans tight end. He can block. He can catch. He didn't have a lot of production last season, but, there was some issues in Cleveland. Obviously, their offensive line. Baker Mayfield had the worst year of his career. Only threw for 3,000 yards on the season. So I think Austin could be a huge addition to this team. He's a tight end, and shout out to Titan Upload. He brought this up earlier. He's one of those tight ends that we didn't have last year. We didn't have that type of guy that could really, sway him a little bit. Mecole Pruitt was kind of one of those guys, but he's one of those guys where you can keep in the game. You don't have to take him out on a blocking situation. The guy can block, he can catch. And I want to play this highlight video because it's freaking awesome. And I don't know if you guys have seen this. And I've never even seen this before until about 10 minutes ago. And I was looking up some Austin Hooper highlight film. I've seen him play. I've seen highlights of him, but this was when he was in Atlanta not too long ago. And man, if you're a Titans fan, you're going to love this. Wait till the end, till he's like at the 30-yard line. He puts a stiff arm on this guy that's just unbelievable. And when I saw this, I was like, yep, this guy is definitely Titans material. I just saw James got in the green room, so we'll get him in here in a minute. But y'all got to check this highlight. This is an 88-yard touchdown by Austin Hooper when he was with Atlanta. Check out the stiff arm at the end. Tell me this guy's not Titan material.
3rd down and 3. Ryan, pressure, in trouble, lets it fly deep, wide open is Austin Hooper. Now it's a foot race. Stiff arm against Dents. Hooper is gonna go. Touchdown. 88 yards.
We'll play it again. I'm gonna go ahead and get James in here because I want to get his reaction to this. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
It's been a rough one. Um, you know what's going on, so we won't get into all that. But hey, I mean, my head has been spinning from all of the transactions taking place over the last couple of days. Man, free agency's going crazy.
I know, man. It's insane, and we're definitely gonna get to that. I want to show. I don't know if you just saw this highlight. So obviously, we got Austin Hooper today, and I don't know if
Yes.
you've seen this play before, but man, check out the stiff arm. This was when he was in Atlanta, but this got me amped. So check this out, man.
3rd down and 3. Ryan, pressure, in trouble, lets it fly deep, wide open is Austin Hooper. Now it's a foot race. Stiff arm against Dents. Hooper is gonna go. Touchdown. 88 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm excited about this guy, man, because we didn't really have one of those guys last season that you could just keep on the field. One of those type of tight ends.
Yeah.
He can block, he can catch. I mean, the dude's a baller. He didn't have much production last season, but I mean, he also had Baker Mayfield, who he had the worst year of his career. He only threw for 3,000 yards. Our offensive line was terrible. I mean, are you excited about this guy?
Well, I'm excited about what I think his potential really is going to be. What his potential is. I don't think he's reached his potential. I know he's made Pro Bowls and things like that, but I don't think we've even scratched the surface of his of what he can do. He is.
Yeah.
I think he went to Cleveland. I think Cleveland misused him quite a bit. But I think that he is one of those guys where if he's not one of these guys that you use in the flat.
Yeah.
He's one of these guys that you get kind of vertical with and you force the safety. He's too big for like one of those nickel corners to come up and cover him. He's too large or he's too fast for a linebacker to kind of cover him. So you end up with him on a safety, and he's bigger than most safeties. So he's better, and I just saw that. Yeah, he is a lot better than what we've had over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He can block. He's really good at his hands are really good. So it's just a matter of, can we use him in the right way? Can we get him in a position to where he can succeed? So I'm excited in that manner, but I'm also kind of hesitant because I haven't seen the Titans use the tight end very well over the last couple of years. So,
And which is kind of crazy because that's back in the day, that's all we used to throw to. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, and we were always good at using tight ends.
Yeah.
Wycheck, Delaney Walker. Who else am I missing throughout the years? We've had some good tight
Yeah,
ends.
we've had some good tight ends, some guys who um were really good and probably didn't get the recognition they deserved. And
Yeah.
Walker seems to be one of those guys who never quite got the recognition he deserved when he was with us. So,
Yeah.
but I think we've got some issues now at the number 2 wide receiver position that last year I thought all we needed was a tight end. Now we're coming to the point where we would need a wide receiver. So we need a number 2 wide receiver.
And before we go on anymore, I do want to get to the comments. A lot of people in here commenting tonight. BB15's in the house. He was here 30 minutes before the show even started. So shout out to BB. He's always been a supporter of the channel. Ryan Dodd, what's up? Janet Kinsey, the Kinseys are in the house. And we do got a treat for you, Miss Kinsey, and everybody. And thank you so much, Miss Kinsey, for for sending me these videos and stuff. I appreciate it. We're going to play them here in a minute of Mason. Mr. Weezer says, can we sign Cole Beasley? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into, I got a little graphic of who's left in the free agent wide receiver world. Titan says, hey, Rossi. Titan Anderson, what's up, my man? Let's see. Grandizer says, tighten up that like button. Show your support. You think Titans may look to trade for Matt Ryan or Baker? I think we're stuck with Tannehill, man. And I say that in the most respectful way. I think Tannehill's our guy. I just don't see that happening at all. Easy Lion, block and catch. Now we won't be tipping our hand to personnel packages. That's a good point. Titan Anderson says he will stiff arm you into the floor. Mr. Weezer in the house. Should we try to retain Ferkser? I mean, we could. Janet says Hooper's Titan material. Jerome Powell. What's up, Jerome? What's up with the Robert Woods? I've heard of this Robert Woods rumor. I think it would have to be a trade because he's not a free agent. So I've heard of this Robert Woods rumor. I don't know if you've heard about that or not, but could be he's a good number 2. He'd be a solid number 2. Janet says, hey, James.
Hey,
Raul Garcia says, LFG. Rossi, what's up, Raul? Raul's my neighbor. He lives right down the street from me. Al Pierce is in the house. Titans 2K. Let's see. Jerome and Janet, what is up? She says, you're welcome for the videos. Do you think the Titans are holding out for the draft? So Janet Kinsey with the $49.99 super chat. Thank you so much. That's the most anybody's ever given me on the channel. So I appreciate that.
Well, to answer Janet's question, I think the Titans have a pretty good idea of what they want to do in free agency. But I think they also have a good idea of what they want to do in the draft. So I think that it's going to be both draft and free agency. I think they're going to try to pick up some people, both. So I don't think they're holding out for the draft. I think it's more or less, okay, let's play it close to the vest. Let's try to see what's available in free agency. If it's too good to pass up, we'll go get it, but we'll go get that person. And I don't think we, I said it on the last show I was on. I say it on this one too. I think the Titans, when it comes to free agency, I think the Titans are at a point where they're looking at the draft and free agency market, and they're looking for guys who will sign. And you're going to see this a lot across the NFL. A lot of 1-year deals because the salary cap is so it only went up. I think it was 20 something million, 25 million, wasn't it? And it was capped at that. So it went up. Its maximum it could go up. So next year, I think you're going to see a lot of crazy deals because the salary cap's going to go up a lot next year.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see because, we'll have more money then too. So I want to play some of these videos that Janet sent me real quick. These are so cool, and these have never been seen before. So there a couple of them I have posted on Twitter here and there. Just some cool videos of Mason working out. Mason Kinsey, he is on the grind, and I do have knowledge that they're looking to use him as punt returner and maybe some other ways in the offense. I think they're trying to see if Mason can step up and possibly make this roster and be a contributor to this team. That's just a few videos that she sent me earlier, and thank you so much, and we'll give them a go here. Let's see. They're kind of quick. I'll show it again. And here's another one, a cone. And let's see. This is a cool one too. This is Mason and Logan. Him and Logan Ryan or Logan Woodside are really good buddies. This is a pretty cool video here. And I think I got another one here too. So, I mean, I think it's cool. Mason seems like one of those guys who's just a grinder. You know what I mean? Like the dude, he's putting in work. Now, I feel like Mason and Janet can let us know in the comments because she's his mother. But I feel like Mason is one of those guys that it's like he works every day. You know what I mean? Goes in he's probably like one of those guys that would overwork. Like I have friends like that who just won't stop, won't stop until they reach where they want to be. And, when you're in the NFL, that's a good trait to have.
Do me a favor though. Can you play that 3-cone one more time?
Yeah. Let's see this one. Yo, push good, bro. Yes.
That was clean right there. I like that. That was clean.
Yeah, he's he's got good what do you call it? Good technique.
Yeah.
I think he could really do something this year, So we'll see. Of course, this channel is supporting him big time. I know you are. Everybody's rooting for him. He's a fan favorite. So anyways, but we'll move on here. So one thing that I wanted to go over, and since we're on wide receivers, James, already, a lot of people are really wanting us to get a free agent wide receiver or trade for somebody like Robert Woods. And what's left so far, if you're looking for a number 2 guy, a solid number 2 guy, this is what's left as far as an hour ago. What's left in the free agent market here? Any of these guys, and let us know in the chat too, any of these guys you see here, and we could bring Julio back and you can talk about that, but any of these guys you see here, would you trust as a solid number 2?
Honestly, if I'm going to get a solid number 2, it's going to be probably maybe somebody, most of these guys. Look at this. You got Julio 33. You got Jarvis Landry 29. You got, there's an age problem with the guys who are available. If you're going to go after somebody who is, you got AJ Green 33. You got Emmanuel Sanders 35. And it's not about what's left in the tank. What it's really about is what's left in their body for breaking down. I mean, when you reach a certain age, I know I did. I woke up one day and I'd been working out and I've been doing some other stuff outside in the house and everything. I woke up the next day and my eyelids hurt. Once you get to a certain age, you have aches and pains in places that a few years weren't places. So I think you've got to start looking at, age being an issue. And then you have to also look at production. A guy who a couple of probably 2 years ago, who I would have thought would have been a nice pickup would have been Will Fuller. Another guy who I thought would have been a nice pickup may have been Cole Beasley. But at this point, do you really just say, okay, I'm going to go young and bring him up with my system and bring him in with my system and let him learn my system, as opposed to going and getting a guy who's been in 2-3 systems that may have some bad habits from those systems. When I worked in the restaurant industry, one of the things we used to say is we'd rather hire inexperienced people as servers and bartenders because we can train them the way we want them to be trained and they have no bad habits elsewhere.
And the stats you see here, and I meant to tell this to the chat too, but the stats you see are last season. Mm-hmm. One thing that surprises me a lot out of all these guys is AJ Green. And and Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders played well last season. And I meant to put all their teams there. What Emmanuel Sanders played for? Who did he play for? Is it Buffalo? I can't remember. Let us know in the chat if y'all remember who Sanders played for last season. But yeah, I mean but again, like you said, the age. I mean, AJ Green definitely showed up last year for Arizona. Odell Beckham is an intriguing one. That's for two teams. His stats for two teams. Now, he tore his ACL or whatever, so that's he's been getting hurt a lot. I just, like you said, I mean, it's hard to, I don't know, out of this bunch, it's just hard to choose. Will Fuller's intriguing because of the speed. I don't know. I just don't see, I mean, maybe a Jarvis Landry. I don't know. I just don't. A lot of people are talking about Cole Beasley. Again, Beasley's one of those type of slot guys. We need a number two. We need a number two outside guy. Now, I mean, do you rely on the draft for that? I mean, do you pick a guy at 26? Do you try and move up and pick up, one of those top tier wide receivers? I don't know, man. It's tough. This is a tough situation.
If I were going to my plans were to go a little younger at wide receiver, it's going to, with the Titans, it's going to depend on what they want to do. Do they want to get a little younger, or do they want to bring in a veteran who, who can play almost immediately? It just depends on what they're seeing. Okay, one of the things that I said is they needed to get a tight end. I would probably draft one, but they decided to go and get a tight end that was experienced. So you can take kind of tight end off the board, or you can put it lower on your draft board. So
Yeah.
me personally, if I'm, it depends on, do the Titans want to trade out of that first round pick or not? If they want to trade out of the first round pick, then you go out and get a veteran wide receiver, and then you bring in a number two guy in whatever pick you get, you slide down to if you want to trade out of that first round. But I think picking up a wide receiver in the first round at this point is probably not a good idea, because by the time we get the draft, the top tier wide receivers are gone.
Yeah.
So you're then picking what in normal years, normal draft years, when it comes to wide receiver, you're picking a guy who would have probably gone in the second round as opposed to the first round. The top 7 or so picks in the draft are legit number ones, no matter what. No matter what year they're legit. And then you start getting into guys who in some years would have been really kind of a top, late first, early second round pick. So I just don't know. I mean, the wide receiver group is deep. I mean, it is deep, but it's deep in when you start comparing those wide receivers to this year's wide receivers only. But when you start comparing them to previous years, I think they're a little light when it comes to that assessment of what they can do, what their skill sets are. Their speeds are off the charts, though, I will say that. But I think some of their hands are a little lacking. Some of their route running's a little lacking. They tend to round off their cuts, which is a bad thing. But in college, you can get away with that if you got the speed. In the NFL, you can't.
And what do you think about Anderson's? I mean, if one of these guys were to fall to 26, are you taking one of these guys? I mean, Burks is interesting. Didn't have a good combine speed wise, but I don't. Are you? I mean, Olave, that's his name. Olave and Williams are really intriguing as well. I mean, I was watching highlights of Williams today, and I was like, oh my god, this guy's pretty.
If they're available at, we are at 26, isn't that right?
26, yeah.
Yeah. If one of those two is available at 26, it would, I mean, I would have my card up there I would have my card up there before the last pick left the stage. But I think Burks is really a second round guy. I think that's where he's going to end up falling. He's going to fall to the second round.
Okay. So let's see. Get back to some of the comments here. People who wanted. Let's see here. Jeff says Mason has Tannehill's favorite target written all over him. Who else? Coach Dante. What's up, Coach Dante? Y'all go follow Coach Dante. If you haven't heard of him, he streams a lot. NBA, NFL, all types of stuff. So shout out to Coach Dante. We'll have to get together sometime. Steven, what's up, Steven? He says Jamison Crowder. Coach Dante says Jarvis Landry. And I think Houston 777's in the house trolling as always. So appreciate you being here, brother.
Yeah, the problem I have with Jamison Crowder, I think he's like 5'8", 5'9", somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So, he's another one of those. I mean, I think we're going to be okay at slot. I think we're going to be good at slot. I think that we've got a couple of guys who are going to be able to slide in there at slot, no problems.
Yeah.
My number two receiver, I wouldn't want anything less than like 6'2", 6'3", somewhere around there. Another big body to put out there so that you can't cover him one-on-one.
Yeah. And Jeremy, I think he was answering our Sanders question. He played for the Bills. So yeah. And too, a lot of these teams like the Bills and the Rams and What's Up Titan Times podcast, I will be on his channel in the morning. I think it's going to be like 9 Central Time, 10 Eastern. I don't know if he's going live or not. We're doing recorded or whatever, but we'll be doing a show together. Wouldn't mind Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson's an interesting talent. I actually met Van Jefferson at a tire shop in Pompano Beach during the offseason last season. He just happened to be there. And I was like, I know you, man. You play football, don't you? And he's like, yeah, my name is Van. And I'm like, Van Jefferson? Cool, dude. Really cool. Just a random, used tire shop. It was really weird. Janet says, I do know that Dez has been told to learn slot this week. Interesting. Vrabel told Mason to get on jug machine catching punts since Kern is not ready to start kicking yet. Dez in the slot? I don't. That's interesting.
Well, first of all, in order to be slot, you really need to be crisp in your route running. You really need to know the playbook very well.
Yeah.
Because you cannot be you can't be out of phase. You can't be out of position. Dez has not shown me to date that he can run a proper route. That goes for college, and that goes so far what his production for the Titans. I just don't know if Dez can be relied upon to be that slot guy.
Yeah.
Maybe a flex number 3 where you're going into a 3 wide receiver set and you're bringing your tight end off and pressuring that seam route. Maybe he could be effective there, but I just don't know as a slot receiver if has the discipline to do it.
Yeah.
Which is troublesome for a draft pick. I mean, it's very troublesome, especially for a second year guy.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't see it. We'll see what happens. What's up, Spicy? Spicy is a part of the Titan Upload Network, so shout out to Spicy. DBS says Mason Kinsey should be kick punt returner. Al says Williams is who I expect us to go get at 26, but we may draft 3 wide receivers. We might. I mean, we need some wide receivers, that's for sure. And shout out to Philip Maddox for the $2 super chat. He said I would take a hard look at Traquan Smith from New Orleans. I've seen him. He's pretty fast from what I know. Fleetwood Titan, I still believe J-Rob will go after DK. I've heard of this DK Metcalf rumor. I don't see it happening. I mean, DK Metcalf, you've seen what wide receivers are getting in money.
Yeah.
Like Christian Kirk, I think is screwing the whole game up. You know what I mean? Like 4 years, 84 million for Christian Kirk, like a slot guy. I mean, the Jaguars way overpaid this guy, but he's screwing the game up because there's guys like DK Metcalf, AJ Brown looking at this Kirk deal and saying, hey, for real? Like, you're giving Kirk this type of money? Like, what do the Devontae Adams? Did you see the
Well,
money he got? Good Lord. Like,
look at where he's going. He's going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville is the type of team right now, they have to overpay for players.
they do.
They
For sure.
have to. Nobody's going to want to go to
Nobody
a
wants to
team.
go there.
Nobody wants to go to a bottom feeding team. I mean,
Yeah.
and so they're going to have to overpay for these guys, and it's going to kind of mess up some things. I mean, and they have a owner who's willing to overpay.
Yeah.
So DK Metcalf, um, it would be nice to have him, but I just don't see it. I just
I
don't
mean,
see it. Money wise, it doesn't fit. And what we would have to give up to get him.
yeah, man. I mean, you're talking about first round picks. I mean, DK Metcalf is a generational talent. I mean, he's like the dude's insanely talented. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you put him opposite of AJ and they're like best buddies too.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be ridiculous. I mean, we're not talking about bringing an aging Julio Jones in. We're talking about bringing a guy that's might not even hit his prime yet, like, and he's in one of the top 5 receivers in the league, probably. I mean, arguably.
And he's built like he was chiseled out of stone.
I know, dude. I know. Him and AJ. Do you remember the picture?
Oh yeah,
It was AJ and him. Like, dude, come on. Like, if they were both together, Ryan Tannehill would have no excuse whatsoever. Like, come on, it's good to dream, I guess, but I don't think it's happening.
Well,
Billy,
I think that the Titans really need to go offensive line. They have some serious issues.
They do
on the offensive line.
Yeah.
They went out in free agency and got a guy. They
Jackson from
and they retained Ben, but still, you've got some real issues on offensive line that has to be addressed. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, and buts.
I mean, I don't think the Jackson guy. I wouldn't think that they are planning on starting him at guard. He can play guard and tackle. He's just Dennis Kelly type of guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think they're planning on starting him in Saffold's place. I would hope not. And then you got to worry about, okay, then are you starting Radens at right tackle where Quesenberry was? And what are you doing with Lawan? Right now, I would say they're more than likely going to restructure Lawan because I think he would be gone by now.
Yeah.
But is Radens going to play right tackle? I mean, what are we doing?
Well, I've went back and I've looked at him playing when he played right tackle. Radens, I don't know. In order for him to play right tackle, he's going to have to put in a lot of work. I mean, think of it like this: if I asked you to, you're right-handed, correct?
Right. Yeah.
If I said I want you to write left-handed, how long would it take you to be proficient at being able to write left-handed?
Oh, I mean, I would say, doing it every day, at least a year or so. I mean, maybe longer. I don't know.
Well, you're asking a guy who has played left tackle since high school to move to right tackle. You're asking essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Spicy says, Baker, I know we're jumping around, but I'm just kind of going off the comments at the moment. We'll get back on track. But Baker to the Colts. It's a possibility. I could see that happening. I'm not. Baker Mayfield's all right. I'm not a huge, Baker Mayfield guy, but we could see what happens. I hope he doesn't go to the Colts just because they're in our division. But I mean, the AFC is getting pretty stacked now. You got Russell Wilson. I mean, it's getting pretty ridiculous. And Watson, he's going to Cleveland. So I mean, the AFC is getting pretty stacked. I think it's going to be I think next season is going to be pretty crazy in the AFC.
And
Titan,
5 years, 130 or $230 million. Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah, man, that's wild. That's wild.
And 3 first-round draft picks.
I know. That's crazy, man. Sin City Titans in the house. What's up, Sin City? Let's see. Hopefully Cannon doesn't take away from Mason's reps. Yeah, Cannon's the guy they brought in. He's a returner. He's actually not a punt returner. He's only, as far as in the NFL, he's just returned kicks. Pretty good kick returner. He almost scored one for a touchdown last year, I think, with San Francisco. So I think he'd be more of a kick returner. Anyways, let's kind of get to some of what I got planned here. So let's see. We've already kind of talked about some of the big moves, but here's some of the big moves around the league. Obviously, and there's probably more that I missed, but Deshaun Watson, we talked about that, traded to the Browns. Russell Wilson to the Broncos. Aaron Rodgers, of course, is staying put in Green Bay. Tom Brady, of course, was retired 2 weeks. Now he's coming back. Carson Wentz to the Commanders. I don't know if I'd really call that a big move, but Devontae Adams, this is huge. Devontae Adams going back and reuniting with his old college teammate, Derek Carr. Jacksonville's on a spending spree. Juju Smith-Schuster, who a lot of people was wanting him as a Titan, has gone to the Chiefs. I didn't want him as a Titan, but he's gone to the Chiefs. Imagine that. Shaq Mason to Tampa. Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson to the Chargers. And Allen Robinson, I think, went to where did Allen Robinson go? Let me know in the chat, y'all. I think he went to
Before you let this go, before you take this off, I wanted to say I think the most interesting thing is Tom Brady and Shaq Mason, because I mean that's something special right there. Shaq Mason, if I'm not mistaken, he had so bringing him in to protect Brady, he's going to be able to look a little bit more downfield than he did last year, and that is scary. When he's able to look downfield, not have to worry about is a guy coming right up the middle to knock my head off. When he's able to do that, he is extremely effective. That's one of the things that you always say about Tom Brady is if you can hit him and pressure him early, the rest of the game he's getting rid of the ball early. He's missing passes and things like that. But with Shaq Mason's right there, a guy who he's worked with, a guy who he trusts to protect him, that becomes an issue for your corners and your safeties because now he's got time to diagnose that, and it only takes that extra second. In the NFL, if the quarterback has four and a half seconds to throw the ball, 9 times out of 10 it's a completion. So that's kind of scary to me.
Yeah, man, it is. And Allen Robinson, and thanks to the chat, went to the Rams, and it's just and what's his name? Jared Stillman was talking about this on his show about he and I've heard some other people say this, but the salary cap is a myth,
Yeah.
And okay, if that's true, then what are the Titans doing? But
well,
I don't think it's
structure. You have to
Yeah.
be able to restructure, and you put those. What you do is you add a year or something like that to restructure, and then you put a lot of the money in signing bonuses and roster bonuses and things like that, so that the money is essentially guaranteed, but it's guaranteed over a long period of your contract, and you get a lot of money up front, but your year to year annual
Yeah.
contract is less.
And yeah, a lot of these teams, like the Bills, making huge moves. The
Hmm.
Rams making gigantic. I mean, it's just you see Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay last season retained every single player. No team has done that since like 1940 or something. Like, I mean, it's crazy how these teams are just, and a lot of these teams are bigger market teams. They got more capital in the from the owners or whatever to spend on bonus money, upfront money, and all that. Amy Adams, I'm sure she's wanting longevity as well,
Right.
too. Um, and I mean, a lot of people say, okay, the Titans don't want to spend money, this and that. Well, look back on the last few years. Look who they've wasted money on. You look at Clowney, you look at Vic Beasley. There's been some mistakes made. There's been some money spent that didn't need to be spent, probably. Now, you take a flyer on these guys, you see what can happen. Beasley was just whatever happened with him was just a wash. Clowney, I read today, somebody's offered him 3 years, $24 million, and the guy's done nothing. He had a decent year with Cleveland or whatever, but not. People are still going after Clowney like he's a top tier defensive end or outside linebacker or whatever, or pass rusher. It's like, what is golly, man? It's crazy.
Well, I think what they're seeing is that in the draft, there's not a whole lot of really good guys. There's some guys who are project guys who are going to come out there and they're going to give you some reps game to game. But I mean, jeez, I mean, so those are premium positions. So if you
Yeah,
got a guy who can go out, a pass rusher is a premium position. I
yeah,
mean, so if you got a guy that can go out there and give you, you know, uh, 15, 20 really good reps a game and get a sack or two a game, I think that is, if he can average like um, 75, 0.75 sacks a game or something like that, then you've got yourself, a guy who's effective. And it's worth that kind of money because I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of that in the draft this year. I think you're going to get I think there's like two guys who I would bet in a year or two are going to be really good, and then the rest are eh.
and yeah, Von Miller got a 6-year, $120 million deal. Now, with this contract, I've heard that it's something like the first year is not going to be hardly anything. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
all backloaded, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's like a backloaded deal or something. So it's not as what it seems. Von Miller's an older guy, but I mean, yeah, he got a 6-year deal, $120 million. I mean, nonetheless, it's pretty crazy. I saw Sauce Monsters in the house. What's up, Sauce? And Sauce is definitely an honorary member of the Titan Upload Network as well. So shout out to Sauce. He's my buddy, man. Billy Mullins, I like all the moves except Saffold. Going to be hard to replace him in the run game. Definitely so. And guys, thank you so much for all the comments. Please tighten up that like button if you haven't already yet. Go follow James, his channel, Titans for Life on YouTube. And, show him some love and support. We got a lot of things planned for you guys coming up. Me, Titan Upload, James. And take a minute. Please like and subscribe if you can. All right. So there you go. So let's kind of get into, like we talked about the offensive line. Austin Hooper obviously is a great addition. We brought back Swaim. I think I kind of see where they're going with this tight end thing. I think, I like the Swaim signing. I don't know if I like the money, but I do like the signing. I do like Hooper. Let's talk about what J. Rob has up his sleeve, the title to the video. In your opinion, what do you think? What do you think the focus is on the front office right now with J. Rob getting these guys? What do you think the focus is? Do you think he's got something up his sleeve that we don't know about? That obviously they're very, tight-lipped on things in Titans world. We know this through past experience, but do you think he's got a big move plan? What do you think his route is coming into this? We're needing wide receivers, blah, 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 as far as the offense. What do you think J. Rob's got planned moving forward?
Well, I think he has a mindset. If you try to crawl into J. Rob's head, you can see he has a mindset. Okay, let's build the future. Let's not look at just this year.
Yeah.
So I think, he's in the mindset of let's not build a team that's going to win the Super Bowl and be done and have no draft capital, have no ability to move, have no ability to, be in salary cap jail for several years and that kind of stuff. I think that's what he's really looking at. So I think he wants to get a little younger in a lot of positions. But I also think that if it's just one position and he needs that guy, you know, um, he's going to go out and get him. And I think we're in a position where there are just a couple of spots that are positions of immediate need. And I think there are some positions, me personally, I think wide receiver is one of those positions where we can get a guy in the draft that's, there's a couple of guys in the draft that we could get if they fell to us that he would have to pull the trigger on it as opposed to trading out of the second round. But trading out of the first round. I think the smart thing to do is if we had an offer, a very good offer for our first rounder, is to trade back and get some compensation for the second round this year, because
Yeah.
that's where J Rob has been his most effective. Second, third, fourth rounds has been very effective. We went over this the other night when we were on the phone talking.
Yeah.
He has had some monster picks in those rounds, some monsters.
Yeah.
So I think he's very effective at that. He's had a couple of misses in the first and second round, but if I'm getting a third, fourth, fifth rounder, if I'm getting a whole lot of third, fourth, fifth rounders who are starters or making Pro Bowls or should make Pro Bowls and things like that, I'll take that miss in the first round. I'll take it
Yeah.
all day because first of all, it's going to save me a lot of cap money, and secondly, it's signing them to longer term deals is a little easier usually. So, signing that first rounder to his second contract, yeah, you get that extra year for being a first rounder, but you get that extra option for that first rounder, but it's going to cost you a ton of money.
And you think back, like we were talking about some of the second, third, even some of the fourth rounders that he's
Mhm.
drafted. I mean, what Harold Landry, right, was a second
Yeah,
round. Obviously Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, David Long. I think
yeah.
he was. What was David Long? I can't remember.
Wasn't
He
he?
was.
He was either a fourth or a fifth round, wasn't he?
I want to say he was. And you look back at Jayon Brown, I think he
Yeah.
was like a third or fourth rounder. And somebody brought up the 2019 draft, and I was trying to pull that up to see. I know it. The draft was awesome. I want to say, was that the year we drafted Henry? Let's see here, 2019 Titans draft class. Oh, Jeffrey Simmons, A.J. Brown, Nate Davis, Amani Hooker, and David Long. I mean, what a draft, right? I mean, all those guys were awesome. I mean, Nate Davis, it's the jury's still out on him. Had a really
Well, I
good.
mean, he's a contributor, and he can start in
Yeah,
a pinch. I mean,
yeah.
come on. I mean, what more can you ask for from I can't even remember what round he was drafted in. Was it the third? Was he a third or was he a fourth?
I want to say he was a 4th round pick. I'm trying to look it up. There was a list of. Let's see. Okay, so AJ was the second round, second pick, 51st pick. Nate Davis was a 3rd round pick, 2019, 82nd pick. Amani Hooker, 4th round. And then you had to round it out. Oh, David Long was a 6th round pick. Holy moly, what a pickup, right? Could have been the steal of the draft. DeAndre Walker, which he didn't pan out, from Georgia, was 5th round. So, I mean, that was a heck of a draft, and we didn't have a lot of draft picks then.
But you also have to remember Jeffrey Simmons. There was a lot of controversy about Jeffrey Simmons.
A lot, yeah, because he was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt, and he had that off the field trouble with the fight with his sister and another woman, and all that. And Amy Adams stepped in and actually talked to him and said go ahead and draft him.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of controversy, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, no, we shouldn't draft a guy. He's got bad character and things like that." And it turns out, when you got into the story a little bit, it kind of like, well, no, he's not a he's not a woman beater. He's trying to protect his sister. I mean,
yeah.
So then you get into this thing where J-Rob, yeah, he's missed on a couple, but I don't know any. I can't think of any GM who's been drafting people that has not made mistakes or missed on a draft pick. So us looking back and going, well, he missed on this guy and he missed on that guy, but he's hit on far more than he's missed.
Yeah.
So
let's see here. I was getting to some more of these comments here. Yeah, BB says Amani Hooker was 4th and Long was 6th. Let's see here. I saw another one. Oh, 4th Horseman. What's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Titan Fox says also this approach has to do a lot with the 2021 season injuries. We can't pay huge money for these big names. If they get injured, we were back to square. That's true. That's a very good statement there. Let's see. Billy Mullins, Henry in a second. Another super chat here. Thank y'all, man. Y'all are spoiling me today. He says, I think J-Rob knows this is Tannehill's last year and is setting up to build a great team around a rookie QB next year. To pay AJ and Jeff and Fulton, he will need his starting QB in a rookie deal in 2023. Very well could be true. We'll see. We'll see what Tannehill does this year. But yeah, I think it's this year's put up or shut up for Tanny. And I hope he can do it. I mean, I have faith in Tannehill. I'm not like one of those guys who's ride or die Tannehill type of guy. I think if we've seen what Tannehill can do with the right talent around him, with a good offensive line, we've seen what Tannehill can do. Yeah. I'm really worried about our offensive line. Something that really not a lot of people are talking about. A lot of people are talking about the wide receiver position, skill positions. But, man, if we don't get this offensive line squared away, we're going to be back to where we were last season, where Tannehill's running for his life the whole freaking season,
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are, James. I don't care who you are. Common sense would tell you if you can't pass block, I mean, I don't care if you're freaking Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, maybe Tom Brady. He gets the ball quick. But even then, you can't get your quarterback killed. I mean, you got to give the guy time,
Yeah.
And I think in a sense too, I think Tannehill, and I might be wrong. Look, I'm not an X's and O. I'm not a freaking brilliant football mind. I'm not. Haven't been a coach. That's more your thing. But I almost feel like he had a complex too towards the latter half of the season. Trying to get the ball out quicker, things like that. You know what I mean? I think it just kind of set him up for some mistakes that he typically did not make in years prior with us.
Yeah.
Um,
So one of the things he did the first year he played, and then the subsequent year after, was that he didn't make those mistakes because he had an offensive line that blocked. It gave him, he had 4 seconds to get rid of the ball. His release, his release is not slow by any means. It's not the quickest release ever, but it's not the slowest. Um, he has an average release, maybe a slightly above average quick release. I think that his problem is he starts hearing those tiptoes behind him and
yeah,
in front of him, and he's not looking downfield. He's worried about where is this rush coming from, because I mean, honestly, I mean, he got, the reason why that everybody, the coaching staff talk about, they love his toughness and things, is because he got hit a lot. You know, you
yeah,
don't talk about I love his toughness if he never gets hit, because you don't know how tough he is.
yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what he does next year. Josh had a question here, and shout out to Josh. He says, I have a question for y'all. Do y'all still get bothered that J Rob drafted Corey Davis over Watson, Mahomes, TJ Watt, CMC, Marlon Humphrey, Mike? I mean, now that you say it like that, Josh, then yeah. But no, I don't know. I mean, I think at the time Corey Davis was a heck of a talent, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody you'd probably still want right now, I mean, considered what
No,
happened, but
no, I don't. I mean,
yeah,
the reason why is because it's hard to predict how a guy is going to pan out in the NFL versus college. You got
yeah,
these super studs in college,
it's a
and then they,
crapshoot.
yeah, and they play like Tarzan in college, and then get in the NFL and play like Jane. I mean, it's you don't
Yeah,
you don't know what you're going to get. But there are certain things that I look for when I'm looking at players. I'm looking. I've already said this. I love evaluating the 3-cone drill, because it gives you the explosiveness of the player and the change of direction of the player. I look at when I sit down and talk with them. They have these standardized questions that they use to gauge. But I don't just look at I want to look at how hard this guy's going to work. You
yeah,
know, is he going to work? Is he going to put in work? Is he one of those guys who's going to go out there when he's not when no, it's not just about what you do when the lights are on. It's what you do when the lights are off. You know.
yeah. Jay Tyler says, give me a reason or two to trust in J Rob. I mean, I got a lot of reasons. I mean, look, I know J Rob's made some misses, but ever since he's been here, we've been winning. We've been to the AFC Championship. We've had offensive player of the year and Derrick Henry. We've had 3 years in a row comeback player of the year in Tannehill, offensive player of the year Derrick Henry, coach of the year Mike Vrabel. So I mean, I'm not a J Rob oh, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but you got to say, man, I mean, he's done a decent job. I mean,
Okay,
he's done a decent
I'll
job.
give you one. I'll give you one. Why I say I think he's done better than a decent job.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
I'll
I
give
agree
you.
with you.
I'll give you one right now. We lose Derrick Henry, and when we lose him, we still win the AFC.
We win
That
12
is a
games.
plan. That was
Yeah.
not that was not just happenstance. He brought in guys.
Yeah.
He does, to me, he doesn't seem complacent. If I've watched that video, he was doggone near crying. He is passionate about this Titans organization. He is passionate about it. He wants to bring a championship here, but he also wants to do it the right way. And the right way is going out and paying for guys that you have to pay for, that you don't have a choice but to pay for.
Yeah.
Now, and then you turn around and you look at how many injuries we had last year, how many players played who were sitting on, who were sitting eating Cheetos the week before and come in and they make huge contributions over the year. Goes out and gets a guy like Zach Cunningham. And
Yeah.
literally, he comes in and looks like an all-star immediately. Looks like one of those guys who is all-pro. These are plans. You don't
Yeah.
stumble upon these things. These are plans. So I trust him with that. Secondly, I think the final thing, the reason what makes me trust him is that he's hit on more draft picks than he has not.
Yeah.
If
I
you
think so.
ask if you ask an owner, you go up to any of these owners and you say, "Hey, I'm going to miss on two or three. Uh, I'm going to miss on two or three draft picks. Every 2 years, I'm going to miss on one or two or something like that. But I'm going to bring in guys in third, fourth, fifth, sixth round that are going to be starters and are going to be doggone near all pros. Are you cool with that?" I tell you, every owner in the NFL is going to be like, "Yes, if you can do that, I can make this work." And you ask a coach the same thing, they're going to tell you the exact same thing. You give me a guy who I can go out and get, and it's going to be a starter for me that everybody else overlooked. I'll take that first round miss. I'll take that, that occasional second round miss.
Yeah.
Darrington Evans being one.
Yeah.
I'll take that, and and I'm going to get this player, and he's going to be a doggone near all pro, and he's going to be a household name in most. Come on now. Yeah, I'm going to take that. That's why I trust J-Rob. He's passionate about the team. He has a plan, and he has a contingency plan for his contingency plan.
Yeah.
You know, um, you just can't. There's no way to really plan for missing all of your number one, number two, and number three wide receiver at the same time, all going down. You just can't plan. There's no
Yeah.
plan. There's nobody that can plan for that. I don't care how good of a GM you are. But we did, and we still went, and we still won.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty incredible.
What more can you ask for?
No, yeah, no, I agree. And I posted this thing on Twitter today, and basically I just made a comment and said, look, we still got Derrick Henry, we got Tannehill,
Mhm.
and blah blah. And a lot of people read it the wrong. I'm not saying Josh, you did, or Jay, or anybody read it the wrong way, but a lot of people did. My point was, but I also said on the tweet too, we're just a couple pieces away from the offense being pretty good. In J-Rob getting a couple pieces. And also I've seen a lot of this on Titans Twitter too. Oh, Titans fans are just they're cool with being mediocre. They're cool with just going to the playoffs, this and that. I'm not one of those guys, but here is my rebuttal to that. You know what I mean? Also, when I look at it in both ways, of course I want a Super Bowl. I remember when the Titans went to the Super Bowl and lost by a yard. I've been a Titans fan that long, since the very beginning. I went and saw them play at Vanderbilt when they were playing at the crappy Vanderbilt Stadium. And that place is terrible. Like, I remember the bad years. We've had some terrible years. Now, in the last 20 years, or since the year 2000, we're the 12th ranked team in the NFL. That's not bad, but I'm not a GM. You know what I mean? I don't have control over what John Robinson does. If I was a GM, one thing, we'd probably be bankrupt, I'm not saying I'm terrible with money, but I'm not a CPA either. You know what I mean? Like, I do okay managing my money. But at the same time, like, this is not an easy job. This is not an easy thing to do. Teams are just not there's no real dynasties anymore, other than New England when they had Brady.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is not a dynasty. The Chiefs were supposed to be a dynasty, but it's not really turning out that way. Yeah, they're winning. They get to the AFC Championship, but it's not easy to get the Super Bowl for any team. There's no more dynasties. That's out. You know, since Brady left New England, that's out. You know, like of course I want to win a Super Bowl, but I'm glad that we're a winning franchise now. I'm happy about that. You know what I mean? I don't want to be one of those franchises that, of course, I would love to win a Super Bowl 1 year. Yeah, great. But I don't want to be one of those franchises where we just suck and suck and suck like we did for 5, 6, 7 years in a row.
Yeah.
Right now, I think, and I'll shut up, James, and you can touch on this. But right now, I think we're in a position where we have Tannehill, who is a decent quarterback, right? I think we would all agree, whether you like him or hate him, Tannehill is a decent quarterback. You know, I think right now we're in a pretty good spot because you still got Tannehill. In a couple years, or whatever, if you want to bring in a guy to groom, maybe next year, whatever, I think they're building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope we get a Super Bowl next season. I hope we do. And I'm not saying we can't. Our defense could be top 5 next season, you know, depending on what we have at cornerback, depending on Caleb Farley, what we do there. But you look at it, James, you got Bud Dupree coming in fully healthy. You know, a lot of these guys are going to be fully healthy. This defense could be lights out. You bring in a couple guys on offense. I mean, what do you think, man? I mean, I don't know. Am I just rambling on?
Well, I mean, okay. I think Ryan Tannehill is slightly above average
Yeah.
because he's has that mobility factor. Average quarterbacks don't tend to be able to, get a little bit of um, they don't be able to. They're not able to extend plays very often. He's able to
Yeah.
extend plays. Um, so I think he's slightly above average. I wouldn't say that he's top 5 or 10, but I think he's slightly above average. I'd put him above a lot of other guys. You've got teams out there who are looking at starting a guy like Gardner Minshew.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so what? I mean, what I would ask is, hindsight's 2020, but who would you get that is who right now that you could say is available that is better, that you can afford,
Yeah.
that you're not going to mortgage your future and spend a whole lot of draft picks to get? Who is that? I mean, the reason why the Patriots were so good for so long was because they would move up and down. They would move down in the draft, and think about Tom Brady was a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Where are you going to find one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL in the 6th round? How often is that done?
Yeah.
There's only one. So, I mean, and then you move around in the draft, you move back and you gain some draft picks and things like that. That's where I think that's the reason why the Patriots were so good for so long, is they were willing to move back. They were willing to look at the draft board and go, this guy really is, another, we can move back six spots, or we can move back 3 spots and take him in the second day. And that's the thing that the Titans have been missing, is getting that extra draft capital. And if you don't think we need extra draft capital, look at the deal that the Texans just cut today with Cleveland. They're going to have 6 first-round draft picks over the next 3 years.
That's crazy, man.
They can go get anyone they want anytime they want in the first round.
Yeah. And
So if they're picking 26 like we are in the draft, they can package this year's first round and next year's first round and still have a first round this year and have a second first round. So So, draft capital is the future of your team.
Yeah.
So acquiring draft capital like the Texans have, I mean, sure, I don't think that the Texans front office is the greatest front office out there, but you give them 6 first round draft picks, you're going to tell me they're going to miss on all 6? I think not.
Yeah.
So, it's a higher probability. I mean, so the Titans need to get those draft picks. They need to start acquiring draft picks, more and more and more draft picks. I think so. We don't have a second this year, which I think is really going to hurt the Titans over the long term. Um, if the Titans have a chance to go back and draft in the second round and and trade out of the first, unless it's one of the few guys who I think the Titans should go after, um, I do it. I'd say, okay, what are you offering me?
Yeah. Yeah, I would too. The bearded one says Joe Flacco and Eli Manning won Super Bowls. We don't need Jesus at QB. And 2021 isn't completely on. You got to still hold the man accountable when you cut Julio Jones. And yeah, I mean, there's a possibility we could bring Julio Jones back
Yeah,
too. Where his contract stood, we couldn't restructure it. You know what I
right.
mean? So he was going to count a ton of money against the cap, so there's a chance you could still bring Julio back.
Yeah,
Um, it's happened before and with team. I want to say it happened with somebody years ago with us where we had done that, So it's not out of the question that we will bring it back. Josh says you got to be honest with you, being afraid to go back to bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to go back to a bad Titan team, but I also, I'm not gonna mortgage our entire future on if it's gonna be, yes, if it was Aaron Rodgers, sure, bring in Aaron Rodgers, trade a couple first round picks. I'm cool with that. But for me to trade away the entire, first round picks, it's got to be somebody like Aaron Rodgers.
yeah,
It's got to, I mean, I don't honestly, I mean, maybe Russell Wilson. I don't know. I don't think the thing in Denver is going to pan out like they hope and think it's going to. I don't know. I mean, I love Russell Wilson. I think he's a great player, but I just don't see Denver having that type of team to be able to just go out there and do what the Rams did this year. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. I'll eat crow on live stream-o-vision. On live,
I just don't think that. I think that the Broncos have more problems than at quarterback. They're not. I don't think they're a quarterback away. I mean, there are some teams who you'll see them from time to time. They're a quarterback away.
yeah,
And what the Rams did last year was that it wasn't just one player they went out and got.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it was a whole slew of
it
players.
was, and they kept adding throughout the season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
OBJ,
Von Miller,
Von Miller. I mean, they went out and they bought that Super Bowl. And
they
sometimes
really
you do that.
did. They really
Um,
did.
and so with the Titans, I think the Titans are, if you say bring in a quarterback, there's maybe 2, 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that I think is going to change the Titans to the point where they are an instant Super Bowl contender. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean,
Yeah,
there's just 2, maybe 3 guys. I don't think Russell Wilson was one of them. So, I think Russell Wilson is a great quarterback, but I don't think he's one of those guys that instantly changes the fortunes of a team. He
yeah,
makes a team better, but I don't think he changes the fortune. I don't think he goes from we're already quarterback play was good enough to win us the AFC regular season.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I think where we're missing is we were missing we're missing our number 2 receiver last year, our number 1 receiver last year, our number 3
yeah,
receiver last year. We're missing a tight end that could catch, that could block. We're missing the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah, man.
We're missing essentially there were times that our right side of the offensive line was in witness protection because
Non-existent. I mean, the guy, I'm not gonna. Tannehill had nothing
yeah,
for probably 6, 7 games of the season. I mean, all this stuff before the season. Oh, this offense, and the media was hyping it up too. We
yeah,
all were. Julio Jones. This all. I mean, nothing panned out on offense as it was meant to be, and that's how life usually goes, right? When you
yeah.
think something meant to be, that's when you get slapped across the head, and you say, "No, sorry, man, that's not the plan." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it was. I mean,
You're gonna have to do what you need to do,
I've never seen this many injuries on a team before, and in
and it's
fact,
never happened.
it's never happened.
A
I mean,
100 years of the NFL,
mhm.
it's never happened.
so
Um,
so I mean do I think it happens again with the Titans? No,
I don't
no.
either. I don't either.
So I think you're going to see. I mean, you think we were good last year? I mean, imagine a healthy team this year.
That's what I was saying too to somebody. I said, if you think of all the injuries that we had on last year, right now at this point in juncture, we're better on paper, even without the wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want
Mhm.
to hypothetically say, um, shout out to Jerome, another super chat here. We made about $100 tonight, so thank you so much, man. You guys rock.
And the
Tan,
interesting thing about Tannehill is that he gets actually cheaper next year.
yeah, I know.
He's cheaper next year.
It says Tannehill is a number one read QB, one read QB. The secret is out, but the play calling suck. That's why Tim Kelly brought in. We need to be greater around him. We all know Foreman should have got more touches. Yeah. And we'll see what Tim Kelly can do. Al says, "Hey Rossi, maybe Jacksonville could use your financial." No, I think they're, it would probably be pretty bad if they had my financial geniuses. Ducky says, "I hate Ducky with Ducky's always with the crazy comments. I hate Ryan. I love Ducky, man." He says, when you shake your camera, it's getting excited. Looks like the smoke around Jeffrey Simmons and the pick behind you. Actually, my bad, man. I got this table and one of the legs is kind of wompy on it, so my bad. But yeah, y'all like the pictures back there. Also, if Mama Kinsey's still in the house, I always got my signed Mason Kinsey one down there she sent to me, so it's awesome. Janet says Rossi Tannehill's not going anywhere. He's our QB. Luckily, we have Kelly to make some new offensive changes. We could have been a lot worse, and we could have. We very well could have, and we technically should have. So I'm backing whoever we got out there. I got to. I'm a fan, right? Not gonna dog them. Hopefully we can get it together. Hopefully Tannehill can pull it together with Tim Kelly coming in the fold, and hopefully that makes a change. Obviously this what they did with Jim Schwartz, bringing him in last year, I think made a difference, especially on the D line. I think that he probably did make a difference because Schwartz is known for his was always known for his D lines.
Yeah.
So I think that's something to look forward to with Kelly. Man, I appreciate all y'all's comments. Y'all been awesome. There's been 40, 50 people in here tonight. And I didn't think there would be a lot of people in here tonight because it being a Friday night. So thank you so much for tuning in. I know Tennessee Titans Weekly is live right now. We're probably going to shut her down and here in a couple minutes. And I thank you guys for all your comments. Please tighten up that like button if you haven't yet. All you got to do is boom, back out of the chat real quick, hit the like button. Let's get the 50 likes for this show. And it's been an incredible show. James, I know you're busy and praying for your dad, man. And let us know where they can find you. And if you got anything planned coming up for your channel, I know we got some stuff planned as a unit, but let them know what's going on.
Well, right now, my family situations is going haywire. My dad's sick, so I'm in a few hours. I'm actually hopping on a plane to head out to Missouri to take care of some things out there. But so a lot of my stuff, my video editing and stuff like that, I just haven't had a chance to get to and get around to and do some stuff with. So I've been kind of neglecting YouTube for a little bit, just because this life happens, and family has to come first, you know before this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm on, you can catch me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook quite often, now that I've been having to travel a little bit. You can catch me there on Facebook. I'm James Wheeler on Facebook. I'm Titans for Life here on YouTube, and I'm Big Sportsman 3 at Big Sportsman 3 on Twitter. I don't tweet a lot because the Rossi is the one is that you got to get on Twitter. You got to get on. So I don't know all the ins and out of Twitter. Is it tweet or is it do you tweet or
Tweet,
twit?
yeah. I didn't
Tweet or
know it
Twitter
until
or
I
whatever.
started this thing about a year ago. So
I know some of you guys out there, are like laughing, going, you didn't know what it is. But I don't do it very often, just because, I don't like blowing up people's, Twitter
yeah,
accounts, things like that, who are following me on there. So if I tweet something, I want people to, say, oh, wait, what's going on? But there's been I have been going round and round. As soon as I get something ready, to make a comment, the Titans should go after this, or the free agent's gone, or it's just been crazy free agency this year.
yeah,
And a lot of the stuff that we've talked about before on free agency has been 1 year deals. I told everyone that this was going to be a lot
yeah,
of 1 year deals. It's working out to be 1 year deals. Of course, the craziness that's that the Cleveland Browns did today is just blowing my mind. I don't know about you.
that
What did
is.
you think when you saw that?
It's pretty insane, man. It's pretty insane. Like, I mean, they obviously think very highly of Deshaun Watson. I mean, he hasn't played in a year. I mean, Deshaun Watson's a heck of a talent. We'll see
Yeah.
if it takes them to where they think it is. But yeah, I mean, that was insane what they gave away. I mean,
It
it's
was what, 3 firsts, a fourth. They traded a fourth for a fifth, and what was it? How much was it? 230? Was it 230? Two hundred and
yeah,
thirty million,
I think it
five
was
years, 230.
240.
Yeah, it blows
That's
my mind.
it's pretty hard to fathom, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Pretty hard to fathom.
is Deshaun Watson a unique talent? Yes. Does he come with a lot of baggage? Yes. Um, wow. I don't understand why Cleveland has a good core of players. Don't get me wrong with that, but you're mortgaging not one, not two, but 3 first round picks.
Yeah, man, that's definitely mortgaging a future, and hopefully Watson can, you know, play good and stay out of trouble. You know what I mean? I know he wasn't criminally charged, but
Yeah.
Philip Maddox, $2. He says prayers for your family. Thank you,
Thank you.
Philip. And Titan says Rossi Titans for life. Great show, Titans Nation. Stay blessed out there. Prayers for your pops, bruh. That's to you. Janet had said something too. Prayers for you from Janet to praying for your family, James.
This has
So
not been a banner year for me. This has been a
been
horrible
pretty
year, and
rough, man.
and it's only March. I'm
Yeah.
just,
It's been
oh
pretty rough. It's
yeah.
and I don't know if your GoFundMe is still running, is it?
Yeah, it is. I haven't had a chance to get in there and look at it, or do anything with it. I've
Yeah,
been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, literally for weeks now. It's I've
yeah.
uh,
Um,
it's
I
been
will,
rough.
and the GoFundMe has been in the link of the description of my videos since it's happened.
Mhm.
So if you guys want to donate to James and his family, he had a house fire. It was terrible. Literally the week of the Bengals divisional game.
I was still there.
Yeah, me and James went. He actually hooked me up with a ticket, and we actually went together. And it was a rough week for him, and it was awesome that he even came. But if you guys want to donate, it's just to kind of help them get some things that the insurance would not pay for. His son's computer. His son had a YouTube channel. Actually, his son was on our channel last week. And also, guys, too, there's a GoFundMe in the link to GoFundMe, James and Eddie O'Reilly's. A lot of you guys know Eddie's story. They are in Germany now. They escaped from Ukraine, and they've got about 8,000 in the GoFundMe, but they're trying to hit 10,000 because they're trying to get their visas correct for Germany, and they need that money. They're really hurting bad. I talk to Eddie every day on WhatsApp. We talk. We've become friends. He's a prince of a guy. If you guys got a $1, $5, whatever, the GoFundMe's in the link, and that's for James as well too. So, sometimes people need help out there, and I try to do all I can as far as that goes. So, anyways, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a great show, right? The participation's been insane.
So I've got to get in bed because I got a flight to catch at 6 in the morning.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on, brother.
Yep.
I really appreciate it, and tighten up. We'll see y'all later.
Tighten up and keep it real.
Yeah, keep it real.